Hey, what's up, O fam? Hope you guys are having a great day. So I'm going to be showing you guys some war gameplay, and I'm also going to go over 5 of the best weapon combos that I have found work amazing in war. So to start things off, in this video you're going to see me using the Great Axe and Hammer, and of course one of the 5 setups is Great Axe Warhammer. So let's go over that. So for the Great Axe, there's 3 abilities on each weapon, and I'm going to go over each ability you want to use. So for the Great Axe, again, first ability is going to be Gravity Well. Gravity Well is this circle. You see that circle that is just placed down on top of me, that blue circle? What it does is you throw it. It's a little ranged ability. When you throw it and enemies are inside it, they're not allowed to roll. So essentially they're stationary, and the only way to get out of it is by dashing out with like the Rapier dash, the charge on Great Axe, etc. The reason being why this ability is so good in war is you can put it on a group of 10 players and they're essentially stuck in that position to just have to sit there and either fight, either tank, or just die. As you can see right here, our entire team, we have gravity wells on them, and we all just kind of mobbed them down, and they were forced to pretty much take all the damage. There's no dodging it. Now for the second ability, you want to use Charge. Charge is your dash, it's your getaway, it is your like gap closer, but mainly when you use it as a getaway, since wars are 50v50. If say you're out of place or you're in the wrong position, like right here, if all these players in front of me wanted to come after me, they could kill me in a heartbeat. You know why? Because I didn't have Charge in this setup during this video. I was testing out Whirlwind on two-handed, but I found it wasn't that good. But if I had Charger here, I'm in a gravity well, I can't even dodge out. If I had Charge, I would have been able to dash and run away. Luckily I had my team come up, support me from the back, so it was alright. But Charge is pretty much your getaway in wars. Now for your third ability, there's 2 abilities you can put as your third ability. You can either use Reap, which is a single target pull. I mean, you can pull multiple people, but it's in like a very solid line in front of you. So say there's 5 people in front of you in like a line, you can pull all 5. But it's pretty much like one little narrow spot in front of you that you pull enemies towards you so you can force them into fighting. Then for the other ability, my favorite ability honestly in wars, I think Reap is really good in open world, but in wars, this ability right there that I just used, it's called Maelstrom. What it does is you spin twice. Each spin, when you hit an opponent, it pulls them into you. Imagine you threw your gravity well down and then you went into your gravity well and you used Maelstrom and you spun. You just forced, to start things off, your gravity well, you threw it, you rooted them. Then you spun, you let them all you brought more players inside your gravity well. So it's just really good at grouping players together. Now for the second weapon with this setup is the Great Hammer. Reason being why the Great Hammer is so good, it provides amazing AoE stuns and amazing AoE staggers. So for the first ability, it's going to be Clear Out. This is, you take your hammer and you pretty much just swing it across your screen. I think it's like a 180 degree almost, and it just knocks back any players that are not blocking or that won't dodge it. For the second ability, you want to use Shockwave. This ability, you jump up in the air with the hammer, you come down with it, slam it into the ground, and you stun any opponents that are around you. I'm pretty sure I do it right here, that ability right there. I go up, I came down, he was stunned, 3 damage on him. Now, obviously I use it against one person, but when you're up against a Zerg, when you're up against multiple players, it's really good for hitting multiple players. And then for the third ability, it's going to be Path of Destiny. That ability that you just saw me use right before that guy died, where my character kind of like flipped and took the hammer and slammed it on the ground, and then you saw 3 like boom, boom, boom shockwaves come out. That is Path of Destiny. What it does is it's a stagger, but the main reason why you want to use it is because it hits so many people and it can go so far. Like, it takes up a lot of distance and it's really good. And just a real quick combo with the 2 weapons, if there's enough players on the flag for a defense attack, you want to throw your gravity well from Great Axe, you want to swap the hammer, use Path of Destiny, that ability that you just saw GTB use, and then you're going to run into your well, you're going to use your Maelstrom, you're going to pull everybody together again, then you're going to swap back to Warhammer and you're going to use the stun where you're going to drop up and slam it into the ground, and then to finish everything off, you're going to use Clear Out and knock everybody away. So that's pretty much how you're going to use that combo. Now for the next weapon combo is going to be Ice Gauntlet Fire Staff. This is for you guys out there who want to do insane damage, who don't really care about having any tank on your side. You just want to be highest damage on leaderboard. You just want to blow people up. Ice Gauntlet Fire Staff is your playstyle in war. So for Ice Gauntlet, your first ability you want to use is Ice Storm. Ice Storm is a snow globe essentially. It looks like a snow globe basically. You put an ice circle AoE that's on the ground, it's a sphere, and it just damages opponents every second, every half second while they're in it, and it also slows them. For your second ability is going to be Entomb. Entomb is your defensive ability with this setup. So say you're outnumbered in a fight and you need to stall for your team to come and help you out, you're going to use Entomb. You're going to get put into a block of ice, and you're in there for 10 seconds. Either you wait out the 10 seconds, you can cancel it early, or if the opponents do enough damage, the icicle does have a health bar, so if they break the health bar, they force you out, but the health bar is ginormous. So for the third ability, now your third ability on the Ice Gauntlet is it's situational / up to you as the player what you want to use. So for what I like to use is Ice Spike. Ice Spike, it can do a lot of damage, a very high burst damage in one ability. It can easily hit 4 to 6k on players. Now for the other ability, you want to use Ice Shower. It's like an ice wall that you drop. I'm sure you've seen it. The Ice Gauntlets will wave their hand in front of them, this big ice wall will pop in front of them, and snow is falling down. If you walk into it, it roots you and it slows you. Basically what that does, it's really good for controlling an area and forcing big groups of players away from you. Now for the Fire Staff, that's your back weapon with this. For the first ability you want to use is Fireball. This is an AoE dot. A nice combo to use with this is you throw your Fireball, you hit the ground, then you swap the Ice Gauntlet, then you put the Snow Globe down on top of the Fireball dot. So essentially they're going to be burning from your Fireball, then they're going to be taking dot damage from your Snow Globe, and then on top of it, your Snow Globe slows them, so they're forced to take extra damage unless they dodge or dash out of it. For the second ability with Fire Staff, you want to use Burnout. That's your dash, that's your mobility. Pretty much just like the Great Axe charge, you want to use it to get out of sticky situations. Say you just got done being in your Ice Gauntlet Entomb where you're in the ice, and there's not enough people to come and help you, but you were able to regen some health while you were in it, and you need to get away. You want to bar swap to your Fire Staff and use Burnout right away, so you can dash. It goes 15 meters because through upgrades it's 10 meters, and the second upgrade increases distance by 50%. Now for the third ability, this is super optional for the Fire Staff. Your third ability can pretty much be any leftover fire ability that you like. In this case, since I'm just going to go over what my favorite ability would be, my favorite ability is Incinerate. What Incinerate does is you take the staff, you slam it into the ground, and you create this fire AoE around you that pushes everything back. So in war, since a lot of players are really outnumbered, maybe before you use your Burnout and dash away, what you're going to do is you'll use Incinerate, drop it down, knock everybody who's around you back, and then dash out. So then you have a free dash, no one can stun you while you're channeling it, nobody can grab you while you're mid-dash, stuff like that. So that is the second setup. So we went over Great Axe Hammer, we went over Ice Gauntlet Fire Staff. For the third setup, we're going to go over Hammer Life Staff. This setup can be changed a little bit because this is essentially the healers of the war. This is what the healer will run. A lot of healers run the Life Staff Hammer, but you could also go Life Staff Great Axe, or you could go Life Staff Hatchet. But we're mainly going to focus on Life Staff Hammer because personally I think that does the best job for players, and it has very good survivability in war for being outnumbered. So without further ado, let's talk about the Hammer first with this setup. The Hammer is pretty much exactly the same as the Great Axe and Hammer setup. The Hammer abilities are Clear Out, Shockwave, Path of Destiny. All three: stuns, staggers, knockbacks, stuff to get pressure off of you. Say, because you're a healer, you're going to get targeted by DPS, you're going to get targeted by gankers, and you want them to stop attacking you, so stuns, knockbacks, staggers is a good way to stop people from doing a lot of damage to you. Now let's talk about the life staff. This is the important part about this. Obviously you're a healer, so your first ability, your bread and butter, you're always going to want this ability, is called Sacred Ground. It's an AoE circle that you put on the ground that heals every second, and the catch is while people stand in it, they also get a 50% increased healing. So now, which moves on to your second bread and butter ability, is Beacon. Beacon is an ability you're going to aim at an enemy or at a teammate. It sticks to them and it travels with them, that heals every second, just like Sacred Ground does. So if you drop Sacred Ground on a teammate and then you shoot that exact same teammate with Beacon, the Beacon's going to heal 50% more because of Sacred Ground. They're going to get 2 dot heals because Beacon's healing on top of Sacred Ground healing. And then Beacon through upgrades also gives haste, so people get increased movement speed. It's an amazing combo to use together. Just too good to not use that during war, especially so you don't have to worry about single target lead, like looking at a player and healing them. You can just kind of heal whoever you want, whenever you want. And there's a lot of players, so it makes it easier on the healer. And then for the third ability, there's 2 abilities you can put in this third slot. It's situational. One is Orb of Protection. That's pretty much the buff, the buff heal. When you heal somebody, you put a 10-second heal over time on them, and on top of it, you give them 20 seconds of Fortify for 10%, which is increasing defense, damage reduction by 10%. Now you can use Splash of Light, but this will only work on your group members. So say you're at a flag where you have no group members, this ability won't really help at all. But say you're very well organized in war and you are traveling with your group, Splash of Light is a really good heal. And basically what it does is it targets all your group members and it heals them for 50% of your weapon damage. Just a nice little burst heal that instead of relying on your dots and your dot heals, maybe this isn't gonna tick in time, or maybe they move out of your Sacred Ground AoE, because you can't move your AoE like beacon, you can't move your Sacred Ground, you can't target. You can target where you put it, but once it's down, it's there. So Splash of Light will at least offer you to like heal somebody who's on the move, someone who's moving around, stuff like that. So now let's go over the fourth weapon combo. This combo is Musket Hatchet. So when you're using this combo in war, you're usually put in the back line of your team and you're focusing Siege. Siege does a lot of damage, it does insane damage in war, honestly. It's a great way to defend flags, and pretty much everybody uses Siege to kill players. So what Musket players will need to do is they'll running their high damage abilities and they're going to be targeting the Siege in the back line, getting rid of it, destroying Siege, but then also Musket players do a lot of damage to single target players. But let's go over the 3 abilities you're going to be using for Musket in war, the ones that I've seen the most and the ones that I've liked the most. So for number 1 is going to be Power Shot. That's just a high damage ability, does a lot of damage. It's really, really good for taking out Siege. You easily get rid of a chunk of health with one shot on Siege. For your second ability, it's going to be Powder Burn. That's the shot that you load in and it leaves a burn after you hit an opponent. It also works really well on Siege because it burns the Siege too, and then the Siege slowly depletes. But what you should do when you are fighting Siege with the Musket is you want to aim for the Siege operator first. So Powder Burn does a great job at it. You take Powder Burn, you put it in your gun, you aim for the Siege gunner's head, hit him in the head, so the burn's going to deal extra damage since the initial hit did extra damage, so you got a headshot, you're going to force them off it, and then you can start dwindling down the Siege and dealing damage to it. Now for your third ability with the Musket, there's 2 you can use. You're either going to use Shooter Stance. This is used if you specifically just want to snipe players off Siege, because what it does is you get down on one knee, you have 3 rapid shots, bang, bang, bang. But the only downside about this ability in war, since it is 50v50, there's a lot of players everywhere. So when you're immobile, when you're down on your one knee, the gank squad in the back trying to kill your healers and your DPS, you're very easy picking the kill. So that's where the other ability comes in. You can either use Stopping Power. Just another ability, increases your damage of your autos, knocks players back, mainly just to do that extra damage to players. And now let's talk about the Hatchet with this setup. The Hatchet, obviously, your first ability you want to use is Berserk. If you're a Hatchet player and you're not using Berserk, I don't know what you're doing. I'm sorry if that sounds toxic or rude, but I don't know what you're doing. Berserk is phenomenal. It's a heal, it doesn't allow you to get staggered, it increases your damage, it's just phenomenal. For your second ability, you want to use Raging Torrent. That is a 4-hit combo. You're mainly going to use that since you're ranged with the Musket Hatchet. You're mainly only going to use Raging Torrent when you get hopped on by a gank squad. That's pretty much going to be the only time that you're going to use it, but it's really good defense for when people come into melee range instead of only having ranged abilities. And then for your third ability, you are going to be running Infected Throw. It's another ranged ability on the Hatchet, but the reason being why you want to use this is because when you're the Musket Hatchet player, you're going to be in the backline, like I said earlier. So you're not going to be taking a lot of damage, you're not going to be taking the brunt of damage, you're going to be dealing damage, you're not going to really be getting attacked too much. So what Infected Throw does is it puts a poison cloud down that heal debuffs players by 30%. So say you have your tanks, you have your front lines all on the flag fighting, you're going to be in the back, you're going to throw that axe in there, you're going to notice that players are going to start dying easier. Why? Because you defiled them for 30% of their healing reduction. So guess what? Now the healers on the other side of the war have to work 10 times harder to heal their team, but on top of it, their heals aren't being as good because it's 30% reduced. It's the bread and butter to the Musket Hatchet build. And then a little add-on to this setup. The reason why, if you guys are wondering like, well, why don't we use Rapier for more mobility on the back wire? Reason being why people use Hatchet on the back wire is because they take advantage of the Undying passive in Hatchet. So if you are about to die while a backline, and usually you're with your team and stuff, so if you're about to die, you'll take your Hatchet out, you'll get Undying for 3 seconds, and usually your team will have enough time for a healer to heal you. You have your anti-gank squad to come and help you after you call out to them, etc. Stuff like that. That's the reason being why it's Musket Hatchet. Other stuff is obviously viable, but this is stuff that I've seen that works probably the best. Now let's talk about the last setup. Let's talk about Bow and Spear. You can also see this in solo PvP, but I've seen it in war a lot, and I've tested it myself, and I actually really enjoy it. You can get out a lot of damage through this and have great self-sustain. So for the bow, the 3 abilities you want to rock, the first one is going to be Poison Shot. That's that AoE poison cloud. You aim it, you shoot it, Poison Cloud on the ground, 20% weapon damage every second for 20 seconds. It's crazy dot. When people stack up on the flag, it's a great way to force people off the flag. For your second ability, you want to use Penetrating Shot, reason being 50v50, a lot of players. You don't really want an ability that's going to hit a player and then stop there. Penetrating Shot, what it does when it's fully upgraded, it's going to hit a player and it's going to keep traveling through more players. And as the ability gets more morphs, the more players it travels through, the more damage it does. So the ability starts doing insane damage once it gets to like the last 4 or 5 people in the straight line shot. Now for the third ability, again like previous setups, is optional. You have 2 abilities you can choose from. You can either choose Evade Shot or Splinter Shot. If you choose Splinter Shot, that means you want to deal more DPS. If you want to deal more DPS, you choose Splinter Shot. There's no really other way around it. You just deal more damage if you do Splinter Shot. But if you do Evade Shot, this gives you more survivability. So say you're in the, obviously bow and spear, your backline. Your bow is dealing a lot of damage, your spear is used to clear out, just like the Musket hatchet. But what Evade Shot will give you, it gives you the option if a ganker does hop on you, you can jump back, you shoot the arrow, you knock them back, and you jump back a little bit. So now you cleared some distance, and you can run away to your healing group, you can run away to your anti-gank squad to help them get that player off you. And then for the spear with this setup, the 3 abilities you want to use on spear, the first one is going to be Sweep. Sweep is your CC, it gives them knockdown, stab, nice damage. It's just good to get some distance, and like if a ganker hops on you, you can hurt them and they don't do that much damage to you. For your second ability, you want to use Volt Kick. Volt Kick is your stun. Again, you use it just like Sweep. You're going to stun them, and you're just going to kind of walk away, break some distance. If you can kill them, you're usually going to stun them, go into Sweep, and stab them on top of it. But you're mainly going to use it stun, help call a gank squad on me, I need anti-gankers, and your team will come and help you during war. And then for third ability, you want to use either Javelin or Cyclone. Reason being, I'll talk about Cyclone first. Cyclone is a little AoE around you. You take the spear and you kind of like twirl it around your head. What this does is it knocks people back 3 meters away from you. This is great for zoning. As a bow player, you don't want to have melees on top of you because you want range. So you quickly swap the spear, say there's 3 people on you, you use Cyclone, you spin the spear around you, and boom, they all got knocked backwards. And now you have some room to work with. You can swap to your bow, use Evade Shot, you can run away, stuff like that. And then the other ability is Javelin. That's where you throw the spear. It's another way to knock players back. The only unfortunate part about this is the knockback is farther than Cyclone, but when you throw the spear, it only hits 1 target. So if say you have 6 players on you, Cyclone is way more effective, but if you have 1 player on you, Javelin is effective. So it's pretty much personal preference. So overall, I talk about the five like best war setups that I've seen, that I've used, that I think are really good. So I'll go over them again. The first one is Great Axe Hammer. Second one is Ice Gauntlet Fire Staff. Third one is Hammer and Life Staff. Fourth one is Musket and Hatchet. And then the 5th one is Bow and Spear. Obviously, if you choose the damage ones, which are Ice Gauntlet Fire Staff, Bow and Spear, Musket, Hatchet, you're most likely going to be in medium or light armor. If you choose the Hammer plus Life Staff, you're most likely going to be in medium or heavy, because you're going to be in the bulk of fighting, like you're going to be targeted a lot, so you want to be tanky, you want to be able to live. And then if you're the Great Axe plus Hammer, again, you're going to be medium or heavy. Usually if you're tanking, like if you're actually tanking on flag, you're going to be in heavy. If you're more like the Bruiser playstyle, you'll be in medium. So I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of this war video. As you can see, I just died there, so you know, shit happens. But I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of it. I'm using the Great Axe and Warhammer in this war, and I will be bringing more wars to you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take with this knowledge as you wish. I mean, a lot of you probably already have been using abilities, but I feel like this is a good point in time to release a video like this now, because the game's been out for almost a month now. So like, I've been able to practice with weapons, been able to use different weapons, actually use it to like their full potential and see what it's all about. So as always, guys, hope you have a good day. Enjoy the rest of this gameplay. And don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.
120 on the highway. You know every day's a grind day. 120 on the highway. I ain't trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing by 120 on the highway. I ain't trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing by 120 on the highway. I ain't trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing by 120 on the highway. I ain't trapping, you know every 120 on the highway. grind day. 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing about 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing about 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing about 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every 120 on the highway. You know every day's a grind day. 120 on the highway. You know every day's a grind day. 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing about 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing about 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every day's a grind day. Doing about 120 on the highway. I trapping, you know every 120 on the highway. On the highway, you know every day's a grind day. 120 on the highway, I trapping, you know